Someone told us that spring training is right around the corner. So we decided to line up early here at Citi Field.
I know,
and
60 days.
I'm kind of in the middle of something
60 days till Port St. Lucie.
60 days? Well, in that case, go Jets!
It's Be Your Own Fan TV with your host, Tyler Taminia. Sponsored by M-Style Marketing.
Marty Appel was the youngest PR director ever to be hired by a major league team, that being the New York Yankees. Jay Horwitz was hired in 1980 by the Mets, and he's still here. Let's go meet them inside. Jay, you've been here since 1980. It's like 30 years.
It's on my 31st year.
Yeah, I mean, you won. Give him an award, somebody. So, is this what you always wanted to do? Or?
I was never much of an athlete growing up. All my friends were athletes, and I was a manager going through high school and college. In high school, I got more letters than the starting quarterback of the football team, and I couldn't catch or throw a ball, so I got into PR. I've been doing this since April 1st, 1980.
Wow, that's great. Marty, I met you in the summer of 2004. You threw out the first pitch for the Hudson Valley Renegades.
It was a great honor.
Yeah, and you signed my book, now pitching for the New York Yankees.
Right.
And now you have another book out that came out this summer.
It's a biography of Thurman Munson called Munson, The Life and Death of a Yankee Captain. And it really seemed to strike a chord with Yankee fans, and a whole new generation discovered Thurman, who was kind of the Derek Jeter of his time. In the 70s, he was the captain of the Yankees.
Yeah.
And, of course, the big difference is Jeter's so good with the press, and Thurman never spoke to the press, which you kind of like your captain to do.
Right, right. And I heard you hit a bomb at Yankee Fantasy Camp.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
I was hoping that maybe we could get you to try out at our team out in St. Paul. So.
Yeah, I hadn't faced a hardball pitch, a live pitch, in I don't know, years. And I was at Fantasy Camp to talk about the Munson book, and they let me work out the next day. I wore a uniform, and I swung at the first pitch I saw and lined a single to center field, the highlight of my life.
There you go. That's awesome. Over 30 years in PR, discuss the difference in media and challenges in the digital age to control the message. How has social media affected your job today?
Press is more concerned with what's off the field. You know, who's drinking with who's going out with which girlfriend. I mean, when we have our press seminars with the players every year, our advice is stay away from the cell phones. Look, Michael Phelps is a perfect example. The guards, the players got to be more on guard to what's going on in the world, because the writers, they look for for a good scandal, they look for anything to get on the back page, and it's more what's off the field to what's on the field. And we talk to our guys in the spring. We see guys that got to be alert. You go into a bar, you put your hand around, you take a picture with somebody, you never know where it's going to turn up. That's the big thing for me that's changed in the 20 years. It's more, all the off-the-field stuff, it's really sometimes more important to these writers than what's on the field.
How difficult is it to cultivate a solid and consistent relationship between management, staff, and players?
We had an incident, which Jay will remember, where we had two pitchers on our team swap wives. Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich. Happened in spring training. I mean, the news broke in spring training. And, what a scandal.
What a
this was
story that is.
Before TMZ and People magazine and everything. And in those days, we were still sort of dealing with old school journalism. And what we did, we brought all the writers who were covering the team in spring training into Ralph Houck's office, the manager. And we said, guys, this is what's happened. It's really a private matter between these two players. We'd appreciate it if you didn't report it. And you know what? They agreed, because they recognized it as a private matter. Unfortunately for us, the New York Post didn't have one of their regular writers down there that spring. They tried an experiment. They sent a woman reporter down, which was unheard of in those days, named Sheila Moran. She was excluded from that meeting. She found out on her own. The Post had this huge exclusive, and as they say, all hell broke loose.
What's the most difficult aspect of controlling the message from a big league franchise in the world's largest media market?
When we have our press conferences with the managers, the writers will be tweeting or blogging as the manager is speaking. We had to pass a rule last year that you had to hold up from tweeting or blogging until after, you know, like when Jerry Manning was having his press conference, he'd be speaking and guys go bop, 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 and you know, you can't. There's no such thing as a news release to announce anything. You know, I make so few announcements now because by the time it gets to my state, the agent speaks, it's tweeted, it's blogged, it's a whole new world.
Oh yeah, that's right. The element of a press release. It becomes.
You know, and it's, you know, the 24-hour news cycle, the term you hear all the time, and you can barely keep up with it.
I mean, speaking of passion, it seems like because of the Hall announcement, what are your thoughts on the process of the inductions? And I know we had spoken about Alomar.
One thing, I kind of feel bad for the Alomar family because his father was a coach here, his brother was a coach here. I know Robbie a little bit. He didn't play well with us, and the thing with Hirschbeck has been patched up. And if you look at Robbie Alomar's statistics, I mean, just kind of a shame he didn't get in this year.
But he's going to go in.
He will go in, but I think he's a good guy. He made amends. Well, what's going on in the world of sports today, what he did was wrong, but it kind of pales in some of the stuff that's going on today.
Now it's time for our Be Your Own Fan moment. Leave us with your favorite memory or fan experience.
Me, it was when I met Willie Mays for the first time. I grew up as a diehard Giant fan from Vic Wertz's catch in the '54 World Series, and we played out in San Francisco. Somebody introduced me to him, and I was like stuttering and mumbling and spilled soda over my foot. And to me, Willie Mays was the greatest player ever lived.
The first job that I ever had was glamorous and not glamorous at the same time. I was hired by Bob Fischel to answer Mickey Mantle's fan mail in 1968. That was my first job. Well, the opportunity to meet Mickey Mantle, to sit down and go over some of these letters with him was unbelievable, and we became lifelong friends out of that.
Amazing.
But the letters themselves, I would be there every day from 9 to 5, and every letter was the same letter. Dear Mr. Mantle, you're my favorite player. Please send me an autographed baseball. Dear Mr. Mantle, you're my favorite player. Please send me an autographed baseball. Over and over again. If I didn't love baseball, that would have been a tough job.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
The only thing I wanted to add was, you know, my 30 years, one of the things I remember the most is Mike Piazza's home run after 9/11. We played we were the first sports activity in the city after 9/11. We were playing the Braves, losing 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning, or 2-1. He had a home run. It just really brought the city together and really showed people that it would be life after 9/11. You know, sports was a unifying thing, could bring the city together, and people could go on with their lives. Something I'll never forget that night.
What cap should Piazza wear on the Hall of Fame plaque?
He'll probably wear a Dodger cap. You know.
Well, it's up to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't.
See, people care.
I think he had his better years with the Dodgers, but we need more help than the Dodgers. They got more people than we do.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much.
Problem.
Both of you guys for taking your time out to do this. That segment was a lot of fun. Marty and Jay were great. Goodbye from Citi Field. I'll see you next time.